Hey everyone, welcome to the 9.7 test server. It is now live and ready for you guys to give a try, hopefully, because the North American server, the article they posted said the test server wasn't going to be up and ready yet, and the article they said they were going to take the big notice down from when it was ready to go up didn't actually come down, but as you can see, I am on the test server here, the 9.7 test server, and well, there's a few new things this patch, including 7 new French vehicles, and plus 1 HD, the Elc Amx, and there is in total 6 new HD vehicles, which includes that Elc Amx in my count there. So let's get right to the French vehicles right after I tell you a few new things that are coming into the game and a few big changes. So first off, for what it means to anybody, Big World 2.8.1, the game, one of the game engine, has been updated, so that doesn't really mean a whole lot for players. Hopefully that'll mean an improved frame rate, but that probably just means more bugs and more crashes, to be honest. We will see. A lot of vehicles, high-tiered vehicles specifically, had their penetration nerfed. So for example, the Yog Pansy E100, the tier 10 German tank destroyer, went from 299mm penetration to 278, so it lost 21. The 183 lost 22mm, the 704 lost 20mm, the ISC 152 lost 20, and the T62A lost 11, and there's a whole lot more vehicles than just that, but just to give you the idea, it seems like it's around 10 to maybe about 25 at the most millimeters for each tank that they lost penetration values in. And a lot of things were nerfed in view range again, including artillery. Artillery got the big hit of that one, but I've seen a few other tanks, such as the T57 Heavy, have their view range nerfed as well. And in the link, or in the video description, I'll have linked so you can get the test server yourself and check out all the patch notes. It'll all be on the same page, and yeah, just in the video description down below. What else do they have here? Motions and chat tweaks. So apparently they read all the emotions in the game. Let's give it a try. General chat. Smiley face, sad face, crying face, big smiley face. Oh yeah, there's the emotions there. Okay, so those are all emotions. I knew that, but I was wondering if they added them because they did rework them. And other chat tweaks, I don't know exactly what they have there. You'll have to check out the list yourself if you want to see, because it did say there they have new hit and penetration mark indicators on the tank, so if you get shot you can check those out. They're probably the same thing, but a higher resolution, I'm guessing. I haven't seen it myself yet. There is a new map called Overlord, and it is based on a real-life, was it Normandy landing? I'm going to be corrected for that. I shouldn't have said what one it was supposed to be, but based on a landing, so it's like a beach scenery in the area around that. And that looks very neat, and there will be a whole separate video of mine on my channel, if not already, then very, very soon later today about that. And they also said they improved gameplay features of live oaks. So, I don't know, they probably flattened out a few bumps and moved a few rocks and stuff like that. But and they improved the effects on Corellia, Westfield, Al Haloof, and Airfield, whatever that means. They probably just changed the way the lighting effects look and the atmospheric feel. But as you can see here, here's the French tech tree in 9.7. Keep in mind, all this stuff, being a test server, is up for change. For example, the E100, which is in HD this time around, it was supposed to be in 9.6, I believe, but it got delayed due to problems. So, as you can see here, there is a couple new tier 2s. There's a new tier 3, two new tier 3s, no, one new tier 3, the S35, which is this one here, and the near tier 4 and tier 5, and we'll take a closer look at that. And the ELC is in HD now as well, and has a slight armor buff for what it's worth. And there is also a new tier 10 and a 9 and 10 right there, so we will check those out. Alright, so let's get going on these French tanks, the new ones here. So we'll start out with the FCM 36, which is this one. I went ahead and put all the top turrets and top guns on these things, so just whatever one happens to be top of the list in each category, just so you guys can see what they will most commonly probably look like, assuming those are the most popular guns. But I'm noticing for a lot of these French turrets, they are very tall. If you're peeking over a hill trying to hit somebody else's turret, they're probably going to be able to hit your top of your turret before you can hit theirs. Just going to throw that out there. If you don't know why, then don't ask. Just believe me, you will get shot when you can't shoot them when peeking over top of hills and such. So there we go. I'll let you guys look at the specs and all that if you want right there. But I'm just going to admire the models myself. I feel like this exhaust is just sticking right out there and very vulnerable to attack, but I guess they're not really worried about their exhaust too much in a war situation, as long as your troops aren't sitting on the back burning themselves. Oh well. Oh well with the troops. And now we have the Renault R35, also a tier 2. Those are the first two tier 2s, or both the two new tier 2s. I like the little scuff that's right there from the shell penetration. I feel like I should be able to zoom in farther, but I can't because these tanks are small. But I like the worn look of the tanks so much more than I like the brand new off the factory floor look to them. This thing's turret actually looks somewhat real or practical. Like, what the heck's with this? The commander looks. That's a viewport. It's definitely a viewport. I mean, I don't know. Hatches at the back of the turret rather than the top. There's a viewport sticking at the top. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't design it like that personally, but whatever. Whatever the French want to do, I guess. Let's skip over the ELC for now. Let's go to the tier 3 so we can do it in tier order. And, well, we can take a look at this thing. Scrapes all down the side. Nice HD model as usual. Exhaust still sticking right out. Not quite as vulnerable looking, but still is. I imagine for these French vehicles, let's see, it's actually not horribly armored for a French vehicle. 47 millimeters of hull, 40 of turret, sorry, and it's, I don't know, I'll have to actually play them eventually, maybe one day, to see what they're actually like. And let's move on to the SARL-42. I don't know if you're supposed to pronounce it SARL or whatever, but you historians can give me a hard time if you want. Is that a gap between the gun and the turret? That looks like a very vulnerable spot, potentially, if you can hit it. Although, being a French tank, I don't think you'll have to aim at weak spots a whole lot. Let's see, that's a tier 4, still 40 millimeters armor, so it's actually got worse armor than the tier 3, and it's not even really arguably angled any better. But that turret is just huge. It's extremely tall. But again, very nice. I feel like I'm missing out because I can't see all the road wheels are covered there with the side skirts, but that's good. That should help it with I don't want to speak too soon, but it might help with side scraping if that's your technique, depending on how well all the rest of it is armored, although the side's probably pretty vulnerable in that case, but so I wouldn't do that. Let's move on to the Renault G1, and this thing looks to me, especially if you put the little turret on it, well, kinda. It almost looks like some kind of French version of the T-14, which is the American Tier 5 premium tank. It looks like some kind of weird version of that just because of how the side skirts are, and it kind of sits up the same height. It has a similar stance, just with a different turret, mostly, if you can use your imagination there. That is huge, that weak spot. I imagine it's got like 40 millimeters of armor as opposed to the rest of the thing's 60 millimeters all in the front. I wonder how fast it is. It doesn't look very fast. Let's see. Top speed 40 kilometers per hour. Engine power 350, 34 tons. You be the judge. We'll go over to the Elc Amx now. A lot of people's favorites. And this thing is in HD now. It's not new, but it's in HD. So it has an armor buff. It's gone from, I think, 14 millimeters of armor to 25 millimeters of armor. So, ooh, you're going to be bouncing 1% more shells now. Congratulations. And I don't know if that affects the weight or not. It weighs 6.76 tons here. I don't know what it weighs in 9.6. As I'm not a huge ELC fan. I have it, but I suck at it. Something bad. So I'll leave that to the professional drivers. I love the antennas sticking out the back, though. It makes it look like it's going fast just sitting still. Or like it's a little insect. And it might as well be when it's zipping around all those bigger tanks, but whatever. Let's move on to the tier 9 here, the AMX-30 prototype here, and it looks kind of neat, to be honest. And what's its armor? 80 millimeters all around, on the front anyway, of everything. That turret looks a little bit bouncy, and it might have some trolley ricochet shots, especially if you hit that gun mantlet. But if I was driving it, I would definitely not rely on it. It's got a huge weak spot there, so if anyone wants to hit your weak spot, then again, if they need to, there you go. The tier 4s can pick on you there, I guess. Let's see. Exhaust, that's a huge exhaust mounted on the back of the thing. I'm seeing a pattern here with the French tanks and their exhaust pipes. What was it like on the G1? Oh, it's hidden there. Never mind. Maybe it's not a pattern. Pretty big turret. Looks kind of like the STB-1 to me. And then we'll move on to the tier 10, the AMX-30B. And now look at the comparison. You see this, and it's like, oh, yeah, it's a nice looking tank, and it looks reasonably well done. And then you look at this thing, and it's like, boom, everything's everywhere. And when I switched from this tank, from the tier 9 to the tier 10 in my garage, I was like, wait, is the Tier 9 HD? And I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is. If we look at this artillery piece, for example, that texture looks a lot more low res than this does, so it must be HD. And the tracks definitely resemble HD tracks as opposed to these things. Look how square those wheels are. But this just looks like it has so much more detail put into it. I'm not sure if I know Wargaming, the creators of World of Tanks there, if you didn't know that, then I don't know what rock you've been under, but they were outsourcing a lot of the work to make all these tanks HD, and I think recently they started doing them themselves as well, so I wonder if one was outsourced and one was actually made themselves, or something. I don't know about that, or if it just historically had more detail, or they had access to the real thing, or something. I don't know, but it looks so much better. Looking around back, I love the look of the cages around the exhaust pipes. It's just too bad when you're in battle you don't have time to really stop and look at the beauty of the vehicles too much, and you can't really enjoy it quite the same. But it's got that dirty, scuffed up, used look to it that I love so much. And so it has a 105mm gun. The Tier 9 can use a very similar, or if not the same, 105mm F1. Looks like it appears to be a very similar, or the same gun even. But beautiful tanks, especially this one. This is probably my favorite looking one. One day I might have to get it if I can suffer down the French line, because to me the idea of no armor isn't the most appealing thing in the world. So moving on to the other HD tanks, the ones that aren't French. So let's go to all nations here, and we will first go ahead and look at, I don't have my mods that I use to sort stuff usually. We will go over to the Russian tree at first here, and let's scroll down and we'll find the IS-4, because that is in HD now. And so first I'm going to look at the STI, or ST1, whatever you want to call it. Let's not start that argument again. So the reason I'm showing you this first is because it's still not HD, and it has a very, very, very similar, if not the same hull as the IS-4. Looking at a few details here, you're going to notice the front plate of the ST1 is flatter, or the lower plate is flatter than the one on the IS-4. Wow, I'm getting my numbers and letters and tank names all mixed up now. But look at the texture. You can see it's not a very great texture, but then you switch over to the IS-4 and it's like, boom, look at that difference. That to me is a world of difference, and you can see that frontal plate slope is a little bit different there. But oh my god, that's a huge difference. Again, with that used look, big scuff from a shell hitting it there. That's awesome. Hopefully the new HD shell marks, or new reworked hit and penetration marks on tanks will look like that, because that would be amazing. I want to get shot if that's what it looked like, and I want to shoot stuff more. But I'm surprised it took them this long to get the HD IS-4 out. I remember back a year and a half ago when they first showed videos for the Havoc engine that is going to allow super awesome physics in the game. They showed the IS-4. I don't know if it was in HD or not, but I remember seeing this hitch, for example, bouncing up and down as they hit bumps, and the fuel tanks would move around, and various pieces could get blown off, like these toolboxes on the side could get blown off of your tank and stuff like that. And I'm still waiting for the Havoc engine, but it looks like it's going to be next year, as in 2016 now. So that's a bit of a bummer. I was hoping for it in 2014, to be honest. And let's see, what is next? Next we have the E100. So over to Germany's tech line. Alright, ooh. So the E100 and the Yog Pansy E100 are both in HD. Can you tell? I mean, the icons look huge. You can't see half the Yog Pansy E100. Let's look at the E100 now. And it was supposed to be released in HD in 9.6. And it was on the test server. If you saw my 9.6 HD vehicles video like this, then will have seen it there. It's got the 2 different degrees of armor there, but I guess they weren't happy about a few things in the HD model, and there's a few issues with it, so they decided that they were going to postpone it and just save it for 9.7. And I guess tanks like the IS-3, they're postponing putting them into the game in HD until after, I think there's some esports thing going on again. They don't want to introduce new characteristics for a tank halfway through that when there's professionals playing games with it, since it's a very commonly used game, or a very commonly used tank, I mean. But it once again looks very nice. I just like how the whole back doesn't, on top here, the engine deck and the engine deck doesn't look so flat anymore, and same with the top of the turret. It looks a little bit more pronounced. That bump on the back, was that, I guess it's a hatch on the back or something. Was that, did that actually stick out in the previous, in 9.6 version, or was it just a flat texture there? But I don't know, little shell penetrations, looks like someone, probably a little M4 Sherman. Can you imagine being an M4 Sherman trying to get to the side of this turret, just unloading a dozen shells into it and then not even reacting to it, just like, oh yeah, I'll get to you in a minute, I'm just gonna finish off these 8 Hellcats or whatever's in front of me and that are shooting me here, and then I'll deal with you. But very nice. Exhaust protruding way out like that. I always look at the exhaust. And the bolts giving it the Frankenstein look, we'll say. Alright, next is the Yog Pansy E100, which is of course very similar to the E100 for obvious reasons, seeing as they do share the same hull, and for that reason it looks very similar as well. I see they fixed issues. I saw early screenshots from super testers where there was like the whole gun mantlet type thing there missing, so the gun was just kind of floating, and it was very silly looking. But you can see the hatch on top, little gun ports up there and whatnot. They look about the same size. I don't think they were nerfed in any way. I don't know about it, the armor, hull armor, 200 millimeters. It's probably the same. I don't know for sure. I haven't looked at the stats really before too much, any more than I need to know where to shoot the thing. And let's see, next we have the Panzer Panzer 4 thing. I ain't pronouncing that. I can't pronounce that. So this thing doesn't look super HD to me. It doesn't look as nice. But nonetheless, it's still a nice tank. My favorite feature, the little bit of glass look in the viewports on the commander's hatch there. The big dent in the back is a nice touch. Looks like it was abused somehow. What did the tank behind it not hit the brakes in time and slam into the back and poke its gun into the toolbox hanging on the back of the turret? That's kind of funny. Once again, fenders are all bent up, and that's about it for that. Let's see, we have one more tank, and that is the Super Pershing. So over to the American tree, USA, and where is it? Did I pass it? I must have passed it. Oh yeah, there it is. I did pass it. Alright, so this is a tank that I didn't think they were going to have in the 9.7 test area, to be honest, because I know there's been some issues with it, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's not actually put out in the 9.7 release and held back until 9.8. But I will point out why momentarily. But was that a double layer of armor there before, or was that just one layer? Was there that second plate weld on the top before? I don't know. And here's why you don't shoot a Super Pershing in the front of the turret, right about here on the other side, because you've got that first plate of spaced armor, and that thing is thick, and then you got your gun mantlet, and there's probably like 3 more layers of armor between there and actually penetrating a shot. So it says 101 millimeters of turret armor, but that is a lot more than 101 millimeters. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like double that. So it's probably 101 millimeters like here, where there's nothing covering it, which is why you shoot those hatches on top. Or if you can, I guess you can. I often shoot the turret cheeks right here if that's a better shot for you, especially if you're shooting up at it. You can't really hit the hatches too well. Turret cheeks are a very nice spot. But as you can see in here, that's as far as I can zoom in. But you have your one big plate of armor that goes all the way around here, and underneath you can see there's another plate of armor. And then under that you finally have the hull. So there's like 2 layers of armor there that you have to get through, of spaced armor. So there's your weak spot there that you can hit. And well, I don't think in 9.6, in the current version, they have that second plate of armor there. I think this is just a little bit thicker. So I'm not sure if they're happy with how they have that or what they want to do there, but we'll see if it actually gets released in 9.7. But otherwise, I've never looked at this thing too closely because I never had it in my garage before. I should give it a try one day on the test server here, and maybe I'll consider buying it. I don't know, it's been nerfed a few times, and It looks like it used to be super great before, but I still don't think it needed a nerf because I killed them super easy in my Type 59, which isn't overpowered, by the way, anymore. But that is it for HD tanks and new tanks. Let's see, I think I got them all. Yes, I did. Alright. So, as I said before, all the information you need to either get the test server yourself or to see the patch notes will be in the video description below. And remember, there's all kinds of new things in there, stuff I didn't mention as well, a lot of vehicle rebalances. So at the very least, go in there and take a look to see if your favorite vehicle has been changed at all, and it'll list to whether its penetration or view range or whatever has been changed. Because there's always little tweaks going on to vehicles a lot of times you wouldn't even notice otherwise. So thank you everybody for watching. There will be another video for Overlord, the new map that's in 9.7 here, and I hope to see you for that. And yeah, see you later. Bye-bye.